So you probably saw this headline flitting around the internet. Wayfair, a real big name in online furniture, has completely pulled out of the German market.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, really gone. They're out of there.
Yeah. That's a big move for sure.
It is. We're talking about a decision that's going to cost them something like $100 million, and it led to hundreds of people losing their jobs.
Wow.
And what's really surprising is that they didn't just, scale down or anything. They just totally left this massive European market.
It's definitely a big shift. Yeah, especially for a company that had, really built up a pretty solid presence there.
Right.
Makes you wonder, like, what's really going on behind the scenes in the furniture world,
Yeah.
This isn't just like one company changing its plans. It feels like a bigger signal about something.
Totally. And it's exactly why we're doing this deep dive for you all today. Whether you're like right in the middle of the furniture business, buying, selling, making this stuff, or just someone who's curious about how e-commerce works, this move by Wayfair could have a much bigger impact than you might think at first.
Yeah, it gives us a glimpse into how things might be changing with how people actually buy furniture.
Exactly. So the big question we're going to try and answer for you today is, what does this sudden exit by Wayfair from Germany really tell us?
Yeah, what were the main reasons behind it?
Yeah, and what are the lessons to be learned by everyone in the furniture supply chain?
Right. And we're lucky enough to have this analysis from someone who's been in the European furniture industry for over 20 years, so they really know their stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, a real expert perspective.
So our goal today is to really dissect the reasons for Wayfair's exit. And from that, try to pull out some really practical insights about what makes a furniture supplier truly reliable in today's, kind of crazy economic climate.
Right, yeah, that's key these days.
Okay, so let's jump in officially. Wayfair is saying they're going to focus on what they call higher growth markets like the UK and Canada. But what's the real story here?
Well, focusing on growth markets, that's a pretty typical strategy for big companies. But the analysis we're looking at suggests some deeper issues that Wayfair was probably running into in Germany.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, one of the big things they point to is just the sheer complexity of logistics in that market.
Logistics. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. So it seems like German consumers, they have really, really high expectations when it comes to the whole delivery and post-sales process.
Okay.
Like the speed of delivery, how easy it is to return things, and having really responsive, localized customer service.
Right.
The analysis suggests that Wayfair's European logistics system, their warehouses, their delivery networks, all that stuff, they might have had trouble keeping up with those really high standards that German customers expect.
Yeah, it makes sense. You think about furniture, it's not like ordering a book online. It's,
Right.
it often needs assembly. And returns can be a real nightmare.
Exactly. And if the customer experience around all those logistical steps isn't smooth, it can really damage trust in the brand.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So what else might have been going on? What other factors led to this decision?
Well, another big one seems to be the thin profit margins in a market that's already very mature and competitive.
Okay.
Germany already has a really strong furniture retail scene, both online and brick and mortar, and consumers there are very price sensitive.
Right.
So the analyst is suggesting that Wayfair's marketplace model, which might work well in less saturated markets, maybe wasn't making enough profit in Germany to be sustainable in the long run.
Yeah, they may have been selling a lot, but if the profit on each sale is tiny, it's hard to make it work over time.
Exactly. It's not just about moving product. It's about doing it in a way that actually makes financial sense.
Right. That's a really important distinction. So what other headwinds might Wayfair have been facing?
So another crucial piece of this puzzle seems to be limited localization. When you're a global company operating across continents, it can be easy to overlook those little differences in what people in different places actually want and need. The analysis points out that furniture is really tied to cultural norms and how people live. The types of fabrics people prefer, the typical sizes of furniture that actually fit in German homes, the specific level of comfort they expect, even the subtle stylistic trends in furniture design, all these things can vary a lot from country to country.
Yeah.
You can't just assume that what sells well in one market will automatically do the same in another.
That's a really good point. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of product.
Right.
So it sounds like Wayfair maybe wasn't offering the exact styles and types of furniture that German customers were really looking for.
That's what the analysis suggests.
And that feeds back into the whole customer experience, doesn't it?
Totally. For furniture, the way it looks online has to really closely match the actual product.
Hmm.
The analyst suggests that those high return rates in Germany could have been because of differences between the online pictures and the real thing, or issues with the perceived quality when it arrived, or even just problems with putting it together or getting it delivered.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And of course, high return rates, they eat into those already thin margins,
Right.
and that can really damage customer trust.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like we've got a whole bunch of things happening at once. Logistical problems, tight profits in a tough market,
Yeah.
not quite meeting local tastes, and potential issues with the overall customer experience.
Yeah, it's a combination of factors.
And instead of trying to fix all these interconnected problems in a really demanding market, it seems like Wayfair just decided to cut their losses and leave.
That's the gist of the analyst's argument. Instead of trying to completely revamp their German operations, they chose what they probably saw as a safer strategic option.
Yeah, makes sense.
It really highlights how complicated it is to try to build a global e-commerce furniture business and make it work in all those different local markets with their unique demands.
Okay, so Wayfair, a huge player, is gone from Germany. What does that mean for the rest of the furniture world? Who else is feeling the effects of this?
Well, the analysis points out that when someone like Wayfair leaves, it leaves a big gap,
Right.
and that has a ripple effect on other businesses.
Can you give us some specific examples of who might be impacted?
Sure. So first, you've got all the furniture sellers who were using Wayfair's platform to reach customers. This includes dropshippers who don't keep their own stock, wholesalers looking for ways to distribute their products, and online resellers.
Right.
All these businesses are now facing some pretty immediate challenges.
Yeah, what are they going to do now?
They have to figure out how to sell their stuff now that Wayfair's gone. They got to secure reliable supply chains. And most importantly, they need to find trustworthy partners to work with in this new landscape.
So Wayfair's decision has triggered a chain reaction, forcing other businesses to rethink their strategies too.
Exactly.
Really shows you how risky it can be to rely too much on one platform.
Totally. The analyst makes a really interesting point here. When a dominant player like Wayfair suddenly exits, it really underscores how crucial it is for brands to have more control over their own supply chains and to really truly understand their customers.
Right.
Those who are more vertically integrated and customer focused, they tend to weather these kinds of storms better.
Makes sense. The others are left scrambling to catch up.
Right.
Okay, so if Wayfair's exit has exposed some of the weaknesses in the supply chain, what are the signs of a reliable furniture supplier in this kind of situation?
Yeah, that's the key question.
Our analysis actually points to ASKT Furniture as a company that embodies some of these traits.
Okay, interesting.
So what makes them stand out based on what we're reading here?
Well, according to the analysis, ASKT Furniture really prioritizes building long-term trust and stability in their business relationships. They seem to be focused on consistently delivering high-quality, reliable products, which directly addresses some of those potential problems that might have contributed to Wayfair's struggles in Germany.
Okay, let's get into the specifics.
Yeah.
What's the first big sign of their reliability that the analysis highlights?
A real commitment to measurable quality standards.
Yeah.
They've invested a significant amount of money, over $20,000, in a whole suite of 12 different types of professional testing equipment.
Wow.
This covers everything from testing the strength and stability of chairs to impact and drop tests on seats and backs, as well as rigorous durability testing for all the joints and moving parts.
That's a serious investment. It
And-
shows they're serious about quality.
Exactly. It's not just talk. They're putting their money where their mouth is with this testing setup.
Right, and it's not just about having the equipment right.
Right. The analysis points out that every single chair that leaves their factory undergoes thorough physical testing.
Wow, every single one.
Yeah, it's not just a quick visual check. It's a full functional assessment. And they have a team of 11 dedicated quality inspectors equipped with video cameras to carefully document the entire inspection process in real time.
So someone buying from thousands of miles away can actually see the quality checks being done. That level of transparency must be really valuable in building trust in a long-distance business relationship.
Absolutely. It's a way to prove that they're serious about quality.
So what's the next thing that makes them reliable, according to this analysis?
Their approach to design. They really think about the specific needs of the European market.
Mm.
Unlike some companies who take a one-size-fits-all approach, they've set up 4 research and development centers in key manufacturing regions.
Mm.
And crucially, they've created sample production areas and showrooms that are specifically designed to mimic typical German living spaces.
That's really smart. So they're not just designing furniture in a vacuum. We're thinking about how it will actually be used in real German homes.
Precisely. They've actually recreated 6 different room layouts in their showroom.
Wow.
Based on real data about the sizes and configurations of German homes.
Wow.
They analyze everything from how much space there is and how high the ceilings are to the kinds of fabrics people prefer and even the everyday habits of German consumers.
So they're really doing their homework.
Oh, yeah. The goal is to design furniture that not only looks good, but also fits perfectly into real German homes and actually works for how people live their lives.
And the fact that they can create custom samples in under 10 days shows how responsive and flexible they are.
Exactly. They can adapt to specific market demands quickly.
That kind of attention to detail and speed seems like a big advantage.
For sure, it sets them apart.
So what else contributes to their reputation as a reliable supplier?
Their focus on sustainable packaging.
Oh.
They've switched to using honeycomb paperboard for protection instead of relying on traditional plastic and foam.
Interesting.
The analysis points out 2 big benefits here.
What are they?
First, it's a more eco-friendly approach, which is something that more and more consumers are looking for these days.
Yeah, definitely.
And second, it significantly reduces the chances of damage during shipping.
Which means?
Fewer returns for the buyers, which saves everyone time and money.
Right.
Considering how many e-commerce returns happen because things get damaged in transit, this is a huge plus.
It's a smart move that benefits everyone. They're being environmentally responsible and directly addressing a major pain point in furniture e-commerce.
Exactly. It's a win-win.
Okay, so what's the final characteristic of a reliable supplier that the analysis highlights when it comes to ASKT Furniture?
They call it a people-first approach to manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's harder to measure than testing equipment or R&D centers. But the analysis emphasizes the value of having a stable, experienced team with people who've been there for a long time.
Yeah, experience counts for a lot.
Absolutely. They even mention a specific example of a pattern cutter who's been doing chair upholstery for over 20 years.
Wow, it's impressive.
The point is they have a deep well of practical expertise in their production process. And they also point out that the management team is actively involved in the day-to-day operations of the factory.
Okay.
They don't just rely on automated systems to run everything.
So it's a balance of using technology for efficiency, but still having that human element of skill and oversight.
Exactly. The argument is that while technology is important, the trained eye and experienced hands on the factory floor are still crucial for consistently producing high-quality furniture.
It's about people and systems working together.
That's the key.
Okay, so for European furniture buyers who are now trying to navigate this market without Wayfair, what should they be focusing on to find these kinds of reliable partners going forward?
The analysis outlines a few key areas.
Yeah.
First, diversification. Relying too much on any single platform, whether it was Wayfair, Amazon, or anyone else, is risky.
Okay.
Buyers should be actively working on building their own e-commerce presence, exploring partnerships with smaller, more regional online platforms, and even thinking about incorporating physical showrooms or pop-up shops to create a more multifaceted approach.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, basically.
Exactly. Especially in a market as dynamic and unpredictable as this one.
So what's the next piece of advice?
Building direct relationships with manufacturers is becoming more and more important.
Okay.
That old model of distant sourcing just isn't cutting it anymore.
Right.
Buyers need to look for partners who are more than just suppliers.
What do you mean?
Partners who are responsive, who really understand the buyer's target customer, who are transparent about their quality control processes, and who can quickly adapt their products to changing trends.
So it's about moving beyond simple transactions to build more collaborative relationships with the people who are actually making the furniture.
Exactly.
What about the practical side of managing inventory in this new landscape?
Inventory flexibility is key.
Okay.
Instead of committing to huge orders, upfront buyers should look for suppliers who can handle smaller production runs, offer drop shipping options for testing the market, and scale up production smoothly based on actual sales data.
So a more agile approach to inventory.
Right. Minimize risk and be able to react quickly to changes in demand.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What are the kind of information and support buyers should expect from their suppliers?
Comprehensive and reliable product data and high-quality samples are absolutely essential.
Okay.
Suppliers need to be providing detailed and accurate information like exact dimensions, CAD files for planning software, and clear assembly instructions.
Mm.
High-resolution photos that show the furniture in real European homes, video documentation of those pre-shipment inspections, and the ability to get accurate physical samples for quality checks.
Right.
All these things are crucial for building trust and making online sales work.
Yeah, because when you're buying online, you can't actually touch and see the product before you buy it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
having detailed, trustworthy information is super important.
Okay, so it seems like Wayfair's exit, while surprising at first, has really shed light on some fundamental truths about the furniture business.
It really has.
It shows just how important it is to build strong, reliable partnerships based on trust, a commitment to quality, a deep understanding of local markets, and the flexibility to adapt to change.
Totally. It's a big wake-up call for the industry.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, the key takeaway for you, our listener, is that Wayfair's departure is much more than just another business news story.
Right.
It highlights how complex the European furniture market really is and how crucial it is to have those strong, reliable supply chain partners.
Couldn't agree more.
And these partnerships, like we've been talking about, need to be built on a foundation of trust, a dedication to quality, a real understanding of what local consumers want, and the ability to adapt to a constantly changing marketplace.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? With all the uncertainty we're seeing in online retail, do we need to completely rethink how we approach sourcing?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Should businesses be putting more emphasis on building those direct, transparent relationships with manufacturers who really get the nuances of different regions and can offer more control and reliability?
Yeah.
What does a truly dependable partnership look like for you and your business?
These are questions everyone in the furniture world should be asking themselves right now.
Absolutely.
And just so you know, the analysis we've been discussing throughout this deep dive comes from Sunbin Chi, the CEO of ASKT Furniture.
Okay.
He's got tons of experience working with factories and navigating the complexities of the German market. He's supplied major retailers like OTTO and Amazon, as well as many independent businesses over the years.
Sounds like he really knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he's someone who's seen these challenges and opportunities firsthand.
Great.
And for those of you who are interested in learning more and maybe rethinking your own sourcing strategies based on these market shifts, ASKT Furniture can be reached by email at sales@sinoaskt.com.
Okay.
Your website where you can find out more about their operations and philosophy is www.asktfurniture.net. They're also available on WhatsApp at +86 1891 260 5997.
Wow. Lots of ways to reach them.
And you can connect with Sunbin Chi directly on LinkedIn to keep this conversation going. So there you have it, some really useful resources for anyone looking to navigate this changing furniture landscape and build stronger, more resilient businesses.
Right.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Let's build smarter. Let's build stronger. Let's build together.
Great episode.
Thanks.
Really enjoyed it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Take care.
You too. Bye.